measuree. So it was really important that we get some additional time at that time. So it was extended 3 years to January of 2013, and we were really hoping that we could do it in that time. As you know, the general plan was adopted in December of this past year, and we immediately jumped into looking at pretty much, a comprehensive overhaul of the development plan ordinance. We've been working very closely with the city attorney's office. In May, the Planning Commission initiated the zoning amendments, and some good discussion has been happening. We've had a couple of meetings since with the Planning Commission, primarily focused on one of the larger components on the traffic part and the findings, but we have made good headway. And we hope to make it to the Planning Commission on the bigger ordinance, the amendments, by December of this year. So we're here before you today asking for a 1-year time extension to January of 2014, although we really hope and expect that we would be before your full council introducing the new and improved development plan ordinance sometime in the spring. We just wanted to get additional time to just make sure that we have the time necessary. We did go to the Planning Commission last month on the request for this time extension, and they forwarded on to you and were supportive of the time extension. Again, it would be a 1-year time extension to January 1st of 2014. It would be business as usual. We would continue to process projects under the current ordinance. One thing that does need to be amended in the resolution in the ordinance is that Measuree allocated 600,000 square feet for small additions, divided up to 30,000 square feet a year. We would need to replenish the small addition just for this next year, but it's square footage from the economic development that originally probably came from small addition. So it's all within the existing 3 million square feet that was not used. We're not in any way going over the original allocation. So we're before you today. Hopefully you'll forward it to the council for introduction on November 13th, and hopefully we'll have this extension adopted November 20th.
Thanks, Ms. Galarte. Are there questions for the staff?
Yeah, I have a quick question. If I could. Is there anything that's going to be a surprise to somebody who's got a project in the pipeline now as a result of what we are asked to do here today? Okay. You said business as usual, so I just want to be sure that we totally understand that.
No surprises for this year.
Ms. Weiss?
There are a number of projects going through the process now or beginning the process, and we are informing people of what we are anticipating are changes coming. So really, it is a little bit of a difficult edge zone that we're in right now where, yes, we will process the projects under the current ordinance, but we're anticipating some changes. So, for example, let's say someone goes to ABR in January, and they get this allocation, and they begin the process, and then the council adopts the new ordinance in March next year, which would be my dream. But the applicant hasn't gone to the Planning Commission yet for the approvals. They were at ABR in January, and they're headed to Planning Commission in June. This is a subject that we're going to address when we bring you the ordinance. As we typically do, we make a determination about pending projects versus approved, new ordinances. So basically, status quo until the new ordinance is adopted, and at the time the new ordinance is adopted, we will most likely be recommending that we continue to treat these pending projects under the old rules, and that'll apply to any number of projects, and so that's a typical consideration.
So I think that's a good answer. In other words, there really wouldn't be any surprises, and we're trying to plan that way.
Well, provided that the staff recommendation makes sense to the council and it's adopted that way.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Mr. Rouse.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just so I'm clear as my memory of this ordinance, the way it worked, and for the public's knowledge, things that are for governmental uses, for example, if we were to do a police station or things like that, are not part of this inventory. Is that correct?
Sorry. Under the current ordinance, government projects have primarily come out of the community priority allocation. The new ordinance is the one I think Councilmember Rouse, that you're thinking about, where under the general plan, there's a 1.35 million capacity, and we said government buildings would not be part of the 1.35. That's going to be in the new ordinance. Under the last 20-plus years, we looked at buildings such as the police building or an expansion of the El Estero treatment plant and things like that as a community priority square footage.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, we'll open public comment. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak to us on this subject today? Okay, seeing none, we close the public comment, and it's to the committee. Yes, Mr. Hodgkiss.
Well, I'd like to move that we push this forward as exactly as recommended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.